There is certainly something special about Abeokuta because that was also where Nobel Prize winner and one of Africa's greatest writers, Professor Wole Soyinka, hosted us to review two of his books. His latest titled Inter-Inventions, which he describes as the nastiest he has ever written, and his memoir titled You Must Set Forth at Dawn. Professor Soyinka attended to a number of topics, including how best to summarize him, Biafra, and his thoughts on the legendary Chinua Achebe.
Most of the time, I've considered myself a writer. That is my primary occupation. That is what impels me. If you like, the need to intervene in reality with my own vision of what that reality could be or what lies underneath it. In other words, I don't set out really to, I'm not a provocateur. You could say that interventionism is a kind of a grade below a provocateur in which you actually are proactive about a situation. I want to be a writer. I've always wanted to be a writer as far back as I remember. The others who consider themselves architects, that's all they've always wanted to be. And those who are doctors, lawyers, and so on, they are quite focused on what they set their hands upon. However, in my own case, as somebody who, shall we say, who's parasitic on reality, whether to distort reality for purposes of some kind of elucidation or presenting a totally new picture of that reality, I consider myself more parasitic comprehensively than, let us say, an architect, a musician, a mason, as I said, a farmer. And so, and the reason I call myself parasitic is that it's when reality becomes intolerable, when it does not leave me enough peace of mind to pursue what I would rather be doing every moment of my life. Mm-hmm. Writing, whether it's prose, whether it's drama, directing and play, whether it's poetry, whether it's even design, because I also consider myself a failed architect, if you like. So when the reality around me is such that I'm not at peace, then I intervene. I don't really set out. I'm not, as I said, I'm not a provocateur. I don't set out. But I cannot stand, I think it is Chinua Achebe who used one of his proverbs, he said, one of his characters said, if somebody comes and defecates on my doorstep, do I just walk away? He says, no, I'll take a stick and break his head. And that is my nature.
You don't run away from a fight. You said this is the most... the
nastiest.
The nastiest you've ever written.
Yes.
Which is your favorite? Which is the best you've ever written?
It's like children. Very rarely do you have favorites among children. You like some for being mischievous, rascally. You like some for being rather thoughtful, and they correspond to your sort of the quiet side of you. You have those adventurers, go-getting. So they're like books. My books are just like children.
So if I locked you up in a room with your Dane gun, the prof, pick one. Now, pick one. Which would you pick?
If I wanted to, which one would I pick to shoot down completely among my books? I can't think of any really, because they all came from
That's a tough question, really.
It's a very tough question, yeah. Very tough. But I'll say this much, depends sometimes on what mood I'm in, what I've been doing lately, etc. It's that kind of, that sort of time I'm able to say, oh, this is my favorite right now. But right now, I'm sort of an equilibrium.
Prof, you've lived a very full life. Won the Nobel, written many books, sat with kings and presidents, fought battles for Nigeria, for yourself. What's the most important thing to you now?
Now, peace and quiet. I've always done, but value even more passionately these days, those moments when I withdraw completely, when I'm able to withdraw completely and just be by myself. It's the most valuable thing to me right now. So you're intruding on my peace.
Okay, okay. One of the biggest challenges the world faced in 2015 was the violence unleashed by various extremist groups like ISIS, Al-Shabaab, and Boko Haram. We were therefore thrilled to find a member of Nigeria's academia, Yinka Olomojobi, publish a book to enlighten readers on the various extremist groups operating in Africa, particularly Nigeria. Yinka's book, particularly with its title, The Frontiers of Jihad, Radical Islam in Africa, however, generated some controversy and lots of interests. The former governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Raji Fashola, had something to say about it during the book's launch, and Olomojobi had a response.
I do not remember his name, but I recall him vividly on television, weeping. And he said words to this effect, that criminals have stolen my religion, end of quote. I recall that. And this really, for me, sums up the whole message. They capture my position that this is not about Islam. It is just basic criminality.
So what's your take on that speech?
What my take on it, as I've argued before, is to contextualize the ideology of these groups. Now, this ideology of these groups is attached to religion. As I said before, these such ideologies can be attached to any religion. You have it in Christianity, Hinduism. Once that sort of ideology exists, you can't call them Muslims. Radical or radicalism, radicalization, is a mental process. You become radicalized. It's the art of a mental journey whereby you don't follow the true precepts of a religious faith. The point in question here is Islam.
Are you saying in a nice way that we are being unrealistic if we don't say that groups like ISIS, Boko Haram are religious groups?
They are religious groups because what is the religion all about? Religion explains life, death, and afterlife. These groups have an ideology which explains to them life, death, and afterlife. They are ready to kill